Greetings. My name is Blazely Dragon, and today I wanted to talk about Asatru. Asatru is, of course, a revival movement of the old Norse traditions. The old Norse traditions didn't really have an official name, it was just part of their normal culture. But there has been numerous revival movements, such as in Iceland, there's a great movement, and this has inspired people in other countries to also tap into the ancient stories and sagas. Iceland was one of the few places that wrote a lot of stuff down. I don't want to talk too much about all of Asatru as a whole today, but at least wanted to briefly talk about it. Those of you who are not familiar, Asatru, the Auses, the Aesir, are one tribe of gods and goddesses, as are the Vanir. When you typically think of the Aesir, you think of people like Odin, Vodin, the Allfather. You think of Thor, his son. When you think of different Vanir, you think of like maybe Freya or Freyr, brother and sister, god and goddess, that has to do with harvest in the earth. One thing that is a typical common practice today has to do with mead, and I actually brought one of my favorite meads, which actually happened to be a going away present from my former staff. Recently, I'm going through a job transition, going to a new company, and this was their little going away present, so I appreciate that. This is a Danish mead, and it is by Dansk Mjod, and it's called Viking Blood. And this particular one happens to be one of my favorite meads out there. Now, I'll briefly talk about different ways that mead can be used in different blots, blot, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which is basically a ceremony or a way of honoring and connecting with the deities, the gods and goddesses. So, the interesting thing about Asatru, or any of the revival Nordic movements, you can call it Odinism, Odinism, they're Nordic traditions, Scandinavian traditions. Like I said, mostly inspired by ancient stories. There's a lot that has been lost throughout the years, but that's fine. But with mead is a drink. Now, it's interesting because they actually put honey wine here on the label, but wine is made from grapes, mead is made from honey or fruit. There's like different ales and stuff that you can make. I mean, I guess technically you still call it a honey wine, that's fine. It's just not typically what I refer to it as. But with this drink, it's not the only type of beverage that you have to use during a blot. You can use water, you can use wine. The idea is something that is sacred, hearty, maybe even more on the pricey side, because it's a sacrifice, it's a offering to the gods. The gods in Nordic Scandinavian traditions, especially the revival movements of Asatru, you are friends with the gods. You don't beg of them to do stuff for you, you honor them through actions and deeds, and you work with them versus having them work for you. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge a lot of the deities, like they'll tap into some of the ancient deities of past, but they want to ignore certain traits and attributes. I mentioned, of course, Odin, because Odin himself, he is about knowledge and wisdom, and he's about obtaining as much as possible, becoming as powerful as possible. So when working with Odin, you have to be careful, because Odin is out for himself, which is fine. I mean, that's who he is. That's something you accept. I mean, he gave up one of his eyes for wisdom, hung himself from the branches of Isidril, and learned of the runes and gained knowledge and wisdom and foresight in their usage and power. He's a very fascinating deity. He collects the slain with his Valkyrie, and his Valkyrie will come down and collect the slain so he can build up his army for Ragnarok. It's very interesting, the Nordic gods, and of course that's part of my heritage, being on my mother's side. Actually, my mother was born in Iceland. She came over as an infant. She didn't grow up there. She's a U.S. citizen, but my grandmother immigrated from there, still has a very, very thick Icelandic accent. But anyway, getting into that, just briefly talking about this. These are not my family traditions. My family traditions, as I was mentioning, the revival movements, I believe Lutheranism is very large in Iceland today, but it's still acceptable to just be yourself, which is kind of cool. Now, when you're talking about the mead and the blots, typically the idea is you are doing it as a sort of a medium between yourself and the deities that you wish to interact with or honor. What I mean by a medium is you are offering like, I have a glass here. I'll fill this up and open it, and I'll talk about the quality here of my personal thoughts. Got plenty of like mosquitoes visiting me back here, so excuse me as I wave them away. I love being out in nature. I don't like getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Having that nice fine balance. Probably should use those modern magics called bug spray or something, but I didn't. I just came out here anyway because I do like sitting in my backyard. But anyway, so when it comes to this meat, I want to talk about how it tastes, its flavor. It typically, I'm in Ohio in the US, it typically goes for, I would say, about anywhere between 30 and 40 USD, somewhere in that ballpark. Definitely better if you ever went to like a Kroger or something, which is like a grocery store around here, and you were to get one of their meats. It's garbage. Now this meat is slightly watered down, but it is still a very, very tasty meat, and I absolutely love it. So it comes in this bottle here, and I probably should have grabbed a stone to knock against it. It's actually clay, I believe. It's, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a clay bottle, but it's nice, hard, and hardy, and it's something that you can use after the fact. There is different versions that Dansk Mjod makes. They'll add different types of herbs and seasonings and flavors for their other bottles, and I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I know they've got like a light brown bottle and they have a white bottle where they add different flavors. I believe the brown bottle has ginger added to it, and I forget what the white bottle has added to it as well, but this one right here is, yeah, pretty much their main mead. So Nordic honey wine with hibiscus hops added, and like I said, it's Viking blood. I guess you can call it blood, but blood, B-L-O-D. So it of course comes here, it's sealed with plastic, and it's got this wooden cork. Now of course I'm going to take this outside because I don't like littering, but there's this little red paper deal here where you can peel this, and hopefully you can get it at a reasonable enough angle to peel off the rest of this plastic. You got to make it. You got to fight for your wine and your mead, your drink. See, here I go, just saying like, oh yeah, I call it mead, and I'm like, oh, you got to fight for your wine, because I literally just read the label. It said honey wine. Good job, great job there. I can always peel this off later because I actually like to save these bottles. They're nice bottles. I don't know why you would want to save it, but you could just because it's a nice bottle. But once you get the plastic off, literally this wooden stopper, you get a nice pop. You can smell the herbal smell, and you can definitely smell the honey. Definitely a nice aroma to it. And I believe you want to drink this within, I think, a week or two. Typically, that's not a problem for me because I can finish this whole bottle in one sitting. But yeah, let's go ahead and pour this out into my little glass here. You can see that color. There you go. So, and I'm probably the only one that's going to be drinking that, but you can see, yeah, not too bad. I'll go a little bit higher, just so you can see more through it. And it looks like I might have already had it. Nope, that's from the bottom. Now, let me go ahead and cork this up. You can serve this room temperature. This is room temperature. You can chill it. You can serve it with fruit. There's other stuff you can do with it. I pretty much just like to drink it room temperature. That's the way I like it. I do think I have a little leaf that fell in there, but we're fine with that. But you can see that color, that coloring with hopefully some light behind it and stuff. Yeah, nice amber color. Like I said, wonderful aroma there. But typically when you are doing this as part of a blot, you would put it in like a bowl or something, or actually you could do it in a glass, but you could do it in a bowl as well if you don't have a lot, or if it's an expensive mead such as this, and you can actually take a sprig, like a cutting from evergreen tree or spruce, and you dip it in. You can flick the blessed mead on the people that are in the ceremony with you. But essentially what you're doing here is you are doing a little salute, and you're allowing the gods to put their blessing inside of the mead. And so when you consume it, you're consuming the blessing from the gods, and vice versa. You are offering through this as a medium to the gods your devotion to them. You're honoring them through your deed and your action. So if you again think of Freya, Frigg, think of Odin, Thor, and any of the particular gods you want to interact with. It doesn't even have to be Nordic gods if you want to borrow from the ceremony, but the idea is you can lift your glass and say a few words. It doesn't have to be out loud, it could be in your mind. And with your mind, you think of the honor and devotion that you have and feel towards them. Think of, for example, Thor. Thor is the protector of Midgard, Midgard, talking about Earth, and he protects the Earth realm from other types of beings and stuff. So if you think of Thor and his protection, if you picture in your head Thor holding up Mjolnir, and you think of him standing over and protecting your loved ones, and you think of the great pride and respect you have for this fellow warrior, honoring and protecting, and you just fill up that mead in your mind, you think of it flowing in through your hand, that devotion and that honor and that respect that you have for Thor, that protector, that guardian, that warrior, and you hold that up, and then you raise your glass, and then you actually will pour out a little bit to the earth. I'm not even getting it on camera, but you pour out a little bit to the earth as giving it to the gods. So you're saying, this is my devotion, this is my gift to you. Thank you, Thor, for your protection, for your strength, for your wisdom. And then you allow the gods to then bless it themselves, and you again raise it to the sky, and you just let it sit for a few moments, and you allow whatever deity, god or goddess you're working with, to fill the glass in any way that they see fit, to charge this with some sort of power or blessing, whatever the case may be. And then you thank them. You thank Thor, you thank Odin, you thank Freya, you thank your gods, your goddesses, whoever they may be. Like I said, even a different tradition, Brigid, Celtic goddess of fire, inspiration, and wisdom, you thank them for the inspiration and gifts that they're giving you into the wine, and then you would all take a sip from it. Now, of course, I'm here by myself, so I would, of course, down the whole thing, but, taking even a simple sip, letting it sit, and then just flow down, and you feel that blessing infused in you, and you thank the gods again, and that's part of doing a bloat. But this here, oh man, I have to tell you, it is sweet, it is smooth, it's got a very bold, robustful taste. You can definitely taste the honey, you can taste the herbal flavor to it. It's very smooth, it doesn't have a harsh aftertaste, it doesn't burn. I actually like the aftertaste a lot. I think it's very pleasant on the way down. Even holding it in my mouth for a little bit, it sits nice on the tongue, and then when I do actually chug it down, I can, kill the glass or kill the bottle, and there's no problem with it. So like I said, it's nice and smooth. It's not like, I would say it's close to ale, but it's not like, it doesn't taste very much like a wine to me. It definitely is not like a bourbon or a whiskey where it's real sharp afterwards and has you gasp for a second right after drinking it. This is wonderful, wonderful mead. I absolutely love the brand, and like I said, that's one way that you can apply its usage if you want to follow the old Nordic traditions. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm probably going to finish that bottle today because, like I said, it is really good. And people make jokes when it comes to the Norse about drinking and fighting and adventure. Yeah, well, we do. We like our alcoholic beverages. Yeah, very tasty. I like this stuff a lot. I am not going to kill the whole bottle in this one sitting because I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes, so I'm actually going to step back inside now that I've got some fresh air. But you can't walk with a full glass. It's good stuff. Like I said, I'm laying it in the dirt. I don't have it on a table. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thumb up, like, and subscribe. Share your thoughts if you follow Asatru, Odinism. If you have ever tasted this mead, regardless of the topic, feel free to leave your comments and thoughts below. And thank you for watching.